Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another video. If you are new to this channel, my name is Frank Tu, and I'm a college professor teaching sociology, history, and philosophy. I'm also an award-winning landscape photographer. Suppose you are talking with someone about the existence of spirits. He argues that spirits are real. You refute him by saying that spirits cannot be real because reality only consists of the hard, enduring objects which can be seen, heard, touched, and smelled. He won't be convinced because reality for him also includes an unseen spiritual realm. So, who is correct? What reasons can you give for saying that he is wrong? Can he produce good reasons for saying that you are wrong? Obviously, questions about what is real is not confined to spirits. There are lots of questions of this nature. Is God real? How do you know? If a tree falls in the forest when there is nobody around to hear it, does it make a sound? Every day we see the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. Is it real that the sun is moving in the sky every day? Can we say that whatever we see with our own eyes must be real? Does reality totally depend on our senses? Can we trust our senses? For many of us, it is not just the spirits or God that raise troubling philosophical questions about what is real. Consider those things that we come across in our daily life, such as freedom, justice, truth, love, beauty, etc. We can't see them, or hear them, or touch them, or smell them. But we can't deny that many people have lived or died for them. Are they real? What can we say about them? In philosophy, all of those questions are discussed in metaphysics. Metaphysics is a branch of philosophy which deals with the fundamental nature of reality and abstract concepts such as being and existence. In doing metaphysics, philosophers ask questions beyond the scope of physical science, such as what is real, what exists, and how is reality structured. If you think those questions are really big philosophical questions, you are right. However, in today's video, I want to put aside philosophical theories and only use plain language to talk about three basic questions. Number one, how do we believe that something is real? Number two, why is it important to look behind the appearances of what we see? And number three, why is it extremely important to ask the question of what is real? Now, please keep in mind that I don't intend to give you answers to the questions I posed at the beginning. You may not need any answer. Neither do I intend to convince you whether or not spirits are real or if God is real. What I intend to do is to give you some food for thought, which is actually the point of me making philosophy videos like this one. Yes, the point is to raise your awareness of a big philosophical question and encourage you to do critical thinking about it. Never take anything for granted. That is the key to doing philosophy. Of course, most of us will not bother about metaphysics. Some people will simply argue that anyone with common sense can answer some of the questions I posed at the beginning. For example, you will probably answer the question about whether or not a falling tree makes sound by saying, "Yes, it makes a sound. I know it because I've heard trees falling down before." It is true that many people base what they believe on their empirical or sensory experiences. We believe that a tangible thing is always real. However, how do we tell if it is real if something is not tangible or when we don't have any sensory experience of it? In those situations, most of us put our beliefs on faith. When you were a child, for example, you believed what your parents told you, often without understanding it, because you had faith in them. For example, your parents probably told you not to touch the wires inside an electricity switch because they told you electricity would shock you and could even kill you. You took their word, even though you had no experience of electricity and you never touched the wires inside an electricity switch. But the question still remains. Why did you never bother to test what your parents told you? It is a question, I think, that deserves more thinking, even though now you are an adult. For most grown-up people, they have faith in science. Whatever scientists say is real must be real. You probably have never seen or felt an atom, for example, but you believe it exists because that's what scientists told you. Do you also believe that there is such a thing as the solar system? Have you seen it? You have faith in scientists because that's the best you can do when it is impossible to have sensory experience of it by yourself. But still, one question remains for you to answer. Why you choose scientists and not anyone else to put your faith on? Some other people choose to put their faith on religion in the absence of sensory experience. When they need explanations for things that are beyond their senses or knowledge, they turn to spiritual books or people of religion. In fact, one of the biggest questions that makes some people religious is, who created the universe? When you can't have personal experience or you don't trust science, the best option is to turn to religion for an answer. Spiritual books explain to their readers what is real in supernature. But again, an important question remains for you to think about. Why do these people choose religion and not science to put their faith on? By the way, I made several videos about religion and why some people become religious. Please check them out if you are interested. By now, you may have come to the conclusion that what is real depends on either our experience or faith. But does our sensory experience always direct us to a reality? Is the saying, seeing is believing, always true? Have you ever bothered to doubt what you see? For example, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west every day. Do you therefore believe that the sun moves in the sky every day? When you see lightning during a storm followed by thunder, can you say for sure that thunder always happens a few seconds after lightning? Every time you throw an object into the sky, it will always fall down. Therefore, you believe whatever goes up comes down. Is that true? Have you seen smoke going all the way up and never falling down? Some people argue that if something is real, it must be present in space and time and have effects on other things. But that argument is also questionable because it implies that abstract things are not real. What about numbers? 1, 2, 3. Are they real? Throughout human history, there have been numerous people who fought and died for freedom. Can you say freedom is not real because it is not present in space and time? Now, let's come to the question, why should we ask the question, how do we know that something is real? Well, first, curiosity is a part of our human nature. Animals will never conceive of such a question. But we human beings always ask why. Remember wondering how a clock worked when you were a child? For human beings, simply knowing the sequences of lightning and thunder is not enough. We want to know why we see lightning before we hear thunder. Secondly, it is for seeking the truth. To get the truth requires us to view the world from different perspectives. It forces us to think of a reality behind the appearances. The distinction between what we simply see, what appears to be, and the deeper picture that allows us to explain it and know the truth is more important. We count the days of the passage of the sun across the sky, but the deeper picture and the truth is that the sun never moves around the earth. Well, I think that is all for today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.